Today we're talking about something new. Like I was saying, if you didn't quite catch it when when everybody was hopping in, there's lots of times where we're working on something for months, if not more than that, over a year sometimes on certain features, and finally the day has come when we can really talk about that and share some of these things. And today is one of those days. So I'm really excited to talk about a new feature that we have. Before that, I always like to hit up a quick slide here for people that are new to ClientCircle and may not know all of the things that we do. I want to just briefly touch on the fact that the whole idea behind ClientCircle is to have a comprehensive platform to really help you achieve your goals, help improve your agency. And we're focusing on things like retention. So we have really great retention tools and strategies are really important right now. Online reputation management. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the inventions we have around that here in a second. Reviews and testimonials have been core to what we do from the very beginning. It is important to have both reviews and testimonials. So don't just think about online reviews. Testimonials are an important part of your platform too, and we can talk about why that's important when you talk with your strategy account manager here. Growth through referrals. We really help you grow referrals. Some of you may remember our prior name, Rocket Referrals. That's core to what we do. We are here to help you grow your referral business, and we have a lot of communications that you can just turn on with a flip of switch to be able to do that. Of course, one of the most important things that we do is have ready-to-go campaigns. We want to make it as easy for you to get started as possible. So we have a lot of content already written for you. You don't need to write a lot of things for you. And if we don't have it written, we have people here that can help understand what your strategies are, your business, and help you through those things. Handwritten cards are big for us. One of the things that I'm learning is that, especially when I go and talk out at shows, when we talk about the fact that we do handwritten cards, a lot of people don't realize that we do all of that ourselves. So we invented the handwritten cards that we use, which means we control the entire process, from literally working with the paper vendors to create the cards and envelopes for us, to the printing and everything all in-house. So that means we can do some really special things. In fact, we have some cool features coming up with that. For example, being able to put QR codes on cards is coming very soon. So a little sneak peek on that one. All right, analytics, data, and industry ranking. One of the really cool things about our data is that we give you some benchmarks. So one of the big things we do is NPS, and we can actually show you how are you doing on NPS compared to other people in the industry. And so sometimes that's really what you want to know, is how you compare to others, not necessarily exactly what your score is, because what does a score mean if you don't really know what to compare it to? Of course, we don't stop there. Some recent inventions or enhancements that we have made to the system. Number one, the first thing I wanted to mention, conversations. So we have a real-time texting and web chat system built into our system. So, we are not using any third-party system to be able to do these tools. It's all in-house, and we have created this. And so because we control the entire process, we can do a lot of really unique things in terms of integrating with the entire platform. So conversations are really built into the core of what we do. And today, one of the things we're going to talk about is a new way to generate conversations with people. So in 2022, we released Journeys Automation, and it's been a really great feature for us to expand what's possible in terms of how you automate your processes. It allows you as an agency, to really configure how you want your marketing automation and systems to kind of run. We want Journeys to sort of be that system that you set up and let those automations run. So what's really neat about our platform and what sets us apart from others is that we want to be sort of a hands-off system for you. So you set up all the automations and you let it run, and it's going to ideally do the work for you. And Journeys is the tool that we created in 2022 to do that. Late in 2023, we released websites. Actually, maybe early 2023. Sorry. And websites is, again, another tool that we kind of made from end to end, and we control a lot of that process, from content management to forms to SEO and all of the things that are involved with that. And today, the feature that we're going to talk about is really building on websites. And you'll see why, as a company, we took on websites. It's going to be very clear today, what our intentions are for websites, and where we're going to go in the future with those. And then, of course, in 2023, we also announced Circle AI. Now, Circle AI has a lot of integrations in our platform to be able to generate content. So in terms of generative AI, now what makes Circle AI unique is that it combines generative AI with traditional AI models that we've created all the way back in 2015. So these are models that have both a combination of generative and traditional together to really give some neat results. So with Circle AI, you're able to categorize NPS surveys and all kinds of things inside the app, as well as write emails and text messages and all that kind of stuff for you, even website content. So what I'm really trying to present is, and what we feel our job is in the InsurTech world, is to be inventors, right? So I wanted to list a couple of inventions that we've had since we started. Number one, our referral algorithm. This is that AI sort of model that I was talking about before, where it's going to identify people that are likely to recommend and then target them with communications to do that. Of course, NPS, we really brought NPS to the independent insurance world. Now, I know a lot of other platforms are starting to catch on, but because we've been doing this, we really know all of the best practices. In fact, we're sending something like 6 million NPS surveys a year, which is kind of crazy. And we're learning a lot about how people respond to those things and how to make sure that your NPS system is working the best it possibly could. Of course, I already talked about the handwritten cards. One of the unique things about how we do online reviews is how we paste them. We really invented a new way to be able to ask people for reviews by looking at all kinds of things about their email address, and to understand who they are and what your online properties are, to make sure that that has an impact in your local SEO. Because what we think the most important thing for your online reviews is to help you move up that local ranking. And so the way that we go about that's very unique and different. Nobody else does it like us. Of course, Circle A we talked about. Another unique tool, and you're going to see a glimpse of this today, is Client Connect. And Client Connect is a way to be able to send out content to people that don't have a lot of other scheduled content, and to generate conversations. And I'm going to show you an example today of how that can be used, actually. And of course, Journeys Automation, which you talked about. So a lot of the things that are on this list, you're going to start to see how it all kind of comes together with this new product that we're talking about. And really, it comes down to websites. So today, we're talking about a new way to make your website work for you. And as we thought about a website, what is it really for today? So if you were to just think about your website, it's for general company information, to have some sort of brand awareness. Maybe you have some forms for people to fill out, and or other tools on there like self-service logins and things for people to get account information. You probably have some contact information, and likely have some blog or other content out there. But traditionally, websites have been a place where they're essentially sitting out there, right? They're passive. They are waiting for visitors, and then the visitor comes to the page and they kind of click and go where they want. And we've seen some gaps in that, right? I think that we can do better. Does your website really sell for you? Is it becoming an active member of your team? And that was our goal. We said, how can we help you make your website work like a member of your sales team? It's quite a lofty goal, because I know a lot of you have some pretty good producers out there. And believe me, we're not going to take the job of any producers, but we really want it to become a member of your team. And so what that means is your website needs to actively know who's on your website, and what does that person need at that time, right? So the best producers, when they get an incoming call from someone, they're going to have some information on that contact. They're going to pick up the phone. They're going to know a lot about the profile of that person, or be able to look it up quickly and kind of have an idea of what that person's needs are. And that's what we want your website to be able to do. It's a very difficult problem to solve, but I think we've done it, and we're onto something. Because when someone visits your website, it needs to know who's there, who's looking at this, what is that visitor's name, who is that person, and it needs to be ready to share the most important message, no matter where they land. So if you think about it, let's say I have a person who I know is a commercial lines customer, or they have a need for some type of policy that they don't have. Am I going to just wait for them to go to that page on the website that has the information that they need? No. Really, ideally, what you want to do is, as soon as someone lands on that website, to get the message that they should see. And then it needs to have a good, clear call to action. And as soon as that information is entered, it needs to be sent to the right people to really help close the deal. So that's really what we have done. And I'm really excited to talk about it. And what we have called it is queues. We called it queues because that's what we're doing, right? We have a message that we're going to queue up, like with the Q, EUE, but also it's like the clapperboard, it's like ready to go. We have messages that you can set for a specific contact. You can add to a contact, and as soon as they visit the website, they're going to see it. And of course, we've integrated it with all of our other automation platform, with journeys and everything else that we have in ClientCircle to really make it work. And I'm going to demo all of these things today too. So in a nutshell, how does this thing work? Well, the first thing that we do, and this is something that we have been building the foundation for years to be able to do this. In fact, we're already collecting information about the people who are using your website, if you have that testimonial widget installed, or sending NPS surveys or other communications. We're collecting information about who those people are. So this is another incentive to use ClientCircle to send your communications than straight up doing email and things like that, because we can track, right? We know then when people are clicking things, when they're opening things, and we know who those people are. So NPS responses, other communications, even text messages, all of these things have tracking that's built in. And you might be thinking, man, this world in terms of privacy and third-party cookies and all this kind of stuff, it's kind of getting cracked down and it's tough to track. You're absolutely right. It's very hard to track stuff now. But we have been able to find a way to do this with meeting all of the laws and regulations, right? So we're making sure that, we're not selling this information, which is key, because if you start selling it, then that kind of opens up a lot of things that you need to disclose and things. So we're not selling, and that's important to know. And secondly, we're able to do this using, basically the same type of tracking that you would use to know, like, when you log into a system. And so because of that, there's not really a lot of issues with cookies and things like that. So we're really excited about the tracking mechanism that we've invented. And truly, that's sort of the magic behind all of this and where all of the work went into. Of course, that's all the stuff you don't get to see. You just get to see the results. But the tracking is the biggest part. So how queues works. Number one, we're tracking people. All you need to know is that when we're sending them communication and they're interacting with that communication, we're going to remember who those people are. Then when someone visits your site, Queues is going to display a message that's specifically made for them. And that's the key part about this, is that a queue for a specific person. So if we have a person that needs to see a message, they're going to see it. and they don't need to browse to some place on the website. And so they could land on your website from lots of different places, right? So let's say you show up in a Google search, or someone shares a link to somewhere. Doesn't matter what page you go, you can see the message that they're supposed to see. And that's the important part. The key part here is that regardless of where they land, they're going to see this message. And then as they're interacting with that, we've built integrations with journeys so that as they fill out a form, or they text you, maybe we're going to follow up with some other communications, journeys kind of takes over to move them along that process. And here's the neat part is journeys can actually say, hey, now they need to see a new queue when they go to my website, right? So I've seen queue A, they've gone through some process, and the next time they go to my website, I'm going to show them something else. So journeys can kind of manage all of that automation and the sequence of everything that needs to happen. And then, of course, at the end, you sell more business. So in a nutshell, that's really the steps. We're tracking people as they are interacting with communications. Let's go back to them. So we're tracking people, right? Then when they go to your site, they see a queue, they interact with the queue, that information flows into a journey, and ideally you're selling more business. And so I thought that it would be great to kind of just show you in action how this thing works. And we'll see how well this demo goes, because kind of managing 4 or 5 different sessions here can be kind of tricky, but I'm going to do my best. Before we do that, I want to introduce you to the people that we're going to be demoing. So I thought it would be fun to kind of give names to the people that we're going to demo here. So our first person is Jim. And I'm going to share a little bit more about this. So Jim happened in a second, but Jim happens to be a business owner. He owns a landscaping company. And we think that it's important for him to have cyber coverage, cyber liability coverage. And set up in the system, we've kind of already identified that he's a monoline customer, monoline commercial lines customer, and he should have cyber coverage. And I'm not going to get into too much detail about how we set the list up and things like that today, but it's pretty basic. Essentially, we're building a list that says find customers that are monoline commercial and don't have cyber, and then they're identified on a list, and then those people are targets for this queue. And then we have Sam, and Sam, she happens to be a personal lines customer, and she has home insurance. She got home insurance from a referral from her realtor, but never really took the time to bundle home and auto. So we've identified that. And again, very similar to the business lines scenario, we think that it's important that Sam knows that bundling is an important step. So we want Sam to see that message when she goes to the website. And of course, then we have a mystery person. We'll learn the mystery person's name here in a bit, but this person is just someone who's been on your website. And one of the neat things about queues is that even though they haven't interacted with any communication yet, we're still kind of keeping track of what they're doing on the website. So after we know who they are, then we can kind of have a better idea of what they've been through on the site. And they then will start to see certain messages that they should see. But queues can also show messages to people that we don't know who they are. And that's what we're going to demo show with our new web visitor as well. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to my screen. And I want to first walk you through each account, and then I'll kind of show you how it works. So inside of ClientCircle, this is Jim's account. So you're going to see me move some certain windows over, and they're all running sort of different sessions. That way I can separate my activity across these 4 different people. When you see admin up here, this yellow thing that says admin, this is you logged into ClientCircle, okay? And you're right now looking at Jim's account. So I want to just walk you through Jim's account, because we can see that he's a promoter. He's responded to an NPS survey. He really likes us. Yes, he does work for Jim's Landscaping. And let's go look at some of the conversations that we have sent him. So Jim has a review request actually that's scheduled, but he's also responded to a survey recently, and we can see this custom queue here. So this is an indicator that he does have a queue on record. In fact, if we go look at the queue, we can see that he has a pending cyber cross-sell queue. So I can see that he has not seen that queue yet. And so where did this queue get started from? Well, we have a journey that is called cross-sell cyber. The system identified that he did not have cyber liability, but he does have an active commercial employer liability policy. And so it then added him to this journey, which then added the queue and actually has an email that's pending to be sent, but has not been sent yet. And actually, sorry, it has been sent. So here's an email that we sent Jim, but he has not clicked on it yet. So he's only opened it. So we can kind of see the interactions of emails that he has had. And then real quick, we can just see he only has that employer liability policy on here. So this is Jim. Now I want to show you what Jim is looking at right now. So I'm going to pull over Jim's window. I'm just going to cover that open. So Jim, again, he owns a landscaping company, and we can see we're on Jim now. So a different session, right? Different browser window. So now imagining that I'm Jim and I am reading this news article about Home Depot hammered by supply chain data breach, which this is pretty nasty. If you haven't read about this yet, I would highly recommend giving this a read. But Jim just found this article, and he knows a lot about Home Depot. He's in there a lot because he's a landscaper, and he's thinking, oh my gosh, it's exposed a bunch of employee data, and I have several employees. How is this going to impact me as a business? And so I don't, if I'm Jim, I'm thinking, I don't know how I can defend against this, or if I'm even going to be covered if something like this happens, right? Like it's going to cost an arm and a leg to be able to do this. So even that as a landscaping company, I need to have cyber liability coverage. So he thinks I am going to go to my agent's website, and bam, look at that. The first thing I see, it's risky to go without cyber coverage. I did not touch a thing. I simply went to the website. ClientCircle identified the fact that I did not have cyber liability coverage, but I should, and shows me this message. That's pretty freaking awesome. So this has not ever been possible before. And it also has a quick form where I can fill out the fact that I'm interested in this. So we're not getting too big brother-ish here, right? So it would be kind of freaky if Jim says, oh my gosh, how do they have my name? How is this even possible? So we're not getting too big brother-ish here. We do ask for a little bit of information, but I'm going to I haven't filled anything out yet, right? I haven't even done anything, but I'm going to move this window back. I'm going to go back over to Jim's profile. I'm going to refresh the page, and then I want to go look at my queues, and you can see now I have viewed that queue. So we can set up lots of different triggers on that, right? So after someone has viewed a queue, I can have a notification about that. So I know now Jim is here. Now remember, Jim hasn't done anything, right? He hasn't clicked anything. He's literally only just looked at it. So that's really good information to know, is that, okay, bam, I am ready for this now. But let's go ahead and fill a little bit more out. So I think Jim Demo is his email address. And we're just going to put 555, 555, 5555. And we're going to collect an opt-in for texting because that's really important. I have a... And we're going to hit submit. I'm going to get submit. We're back on the home page, but guess what? I'm not getting presented with a queue any longer. And that's nice because I've already interacted with that. So the system's not going to get annoying and re-prompt Jim for that same queue. And so that's really important. So I'm going to just slide back over. I'm going back over to my queue page here. And now when you see, I actually have a form submission down here on the recent activity for the queue. So this shows me that not only did I get a display, but I've actually filled out a form response, and that form response, bam, goes right into the profile. So we're really proud about, for that, because again, remember, Jim did not have to log in. Jim didn't have to do anything to say who he is, and the website just knew it was Jim. So pretty awesome. And now that we have this form response, right, it can flow into a journey and send out an employee notification and that kind of thing. So let's go just briefly look at our journey for Cross-Sell Cyber. And you can see already Jim moved from adding the queue, and actually, here's the neat part about this. It skipped this email for cyber options. So imagine I have a campaign for Jim that is several emails long, and its goal is to get Jim interested in cyber coverage. Well, the journey has automatically recognized that Jim is interested in cyber because he filled out the form and skipped the cyber options email and went right into start the quote process. Why is that important? Because how many marketing automation systems have you used that a client gets extra emails after they've already shown interest in something? And that just makes you, it's kind of embarrassing, right? And so Journeys is designed to have goals set so that it knows when something happens and you don't need to, look embarrassed in front of your customers. And so now we're on a manual action, and an employee has also received a notification. So we can see that we have already sent that notification to the employee. So actually, let's open this up and we'll go look at our journey path. We can see that we sent a notification to an employee. So I don't have the employee email right now, but you should. The user of this system would have an email that says, hey, this person filled out this form. They're interested in cyber. You should give them a call. And so we're going to leave it up to you as an agent to go through all of the quoting process and things like that. If you would like, you can use Journeys to kind of help you through that process, right? We can move them over to the other stages if you want, and just kind of use that as sort of a task system to help you manage that process. Or it could be sent through a webhook into another system and integrated. However you think it works best for your agency. But what we're showing here is how it went from just a few NPS survey emails to seeing something on the web and filling out a form. So that's Jim. Jim now is going to have cyber coverage. I'm sure of it, because you're all going to do an amazing job of closing that deal. Let's switch over to Sam. And I wanted to show a little bit difference here, because Sam, being a personal lines client, might need to get a little bit different message. And so Sam, again, personal lines client, not in a company. This person happens to have responded, or sorry, not responded, but has received a few Client Connect emails. And here's an example of a Client Connect email. Just simply, hey, Sam, saw this today, thought you might find it interesting. And it's a link to an article about how to improve yourself, 20 practical self-improvement tips, right? It's just some random article that's in Client Connect. And these are the types of things that are sent to personal lines clients based upon the details in their policy. Sam actually has opened one of these and also opened another one over time. And so, again, Q's is starting to know who this person is. So when they visit the site, we'll be ready to present a message. Okay, a couple of other things about Sam. Of course, there's only one home insurance policy. So this is how ClientCircle has started a cross-sell auto journey. So now she's on a cross-sell auto journey because we've recognized only one personal lines product on that monoline list. And we can see that because they're on the journey, they have a pending display for cross-sell auto. Okay, so I am going to find my window for Sam and drag that over here. So now I'm going to be Sam. All right, so I'm Sam, and actually Sam's in the middle of looking for a way to save on auto insurance. And of course, they get Geico and all of these other things. All of these, everybody knows what you're going to see when you Google that, right? But then Sam remembers, that's right. I have my home insurance through Juergens Insurance, and in fact, it might have even been the quote that she's doing on auto when they ask, do you want to get home? And then she stops and says, I need to go talk with my agent. They might even be getting your information to say, hey, I am going to bundle my home insurance with this other carrier, so I need to cancel it, right? There's lots of different reasons that Sam might be going to your website. But let's see what happens when Sam goes to the website. Bundling home and auto coverage could save you money, right? So remember when Jim went here, he saw cyber is important. Let me help you with that. Are you interested in it? And that's I think a great way to go about it with cyber, because you're a business, you want to really have that conversation. And sometimes quoting cyber can be more involved, right? But for auto, you can just take them straight to your quote page, right? So we can go in and go to the quote page, which, by the way, the website tool is ClientCircle. So you're looking at ClientCircle's website tool. We do have chat built into it. We're not going to demo that today, but we can do Sam sample. This is a very simple quote form so that I can get through it quickly, but Sam and Jim have a very similar phone number. Let's see. We're going to put ClientCircle's email address. If anybody wants to send us fan mail, now you know where to send it. Moline, Iowa, 50309. Looking for auto, of course. This is a cool question to put on your forms. If you are not putting this question on your forms, who was it that referred you to us? We'd love to send them a thank you. You need to do that, because this alone is going to help you get more referrals. And of course, we have an opt-in. I'm not a robot. Ooh, thankfully, I didn't have to select all of the road signs. And again, we have a form. So I'm going to just swipe this back over. We're going to go look at Sam's sample here. And let's go look at the queues. There we go. We can see that Sam has now viewed that queue and actually clicked on the button. The form was not embedded in the queue, so you see that they clicked on some action. Sometimes web forms take a little bit of time to go through, but it looks like this one came in there here pretty quickly. So we can also see that quote form information come in right away. Again, Sam did not have to log in. Sam didn't have to really do much. We knew who Sam was, and it connected all of this information together. So I know that if you were in the audience right now, I could hear all of the applause, because this is a pretty cool thing. And I'm really excited about it, because I kind of geek out about how all of this stuff works in behind the scenes. But there we go. Now, let's go take a look at our journey. Look at this, right? Remember, if you saw it before, Sam simply had the queue, right? And it went all the way to notifying the employee that someone has filled out that form. So all of this automation is happening hands off, right? You really didn't have to do much at all, except work with us to set up queues and these forms. And I think after that, all you're going to have to do is close more business. And that's what we want. So, but I want to move on to our third user. Now, our third type of person, remember, was an unknown visitor, because that's another scenario. And Actually, I'm going to just take you over to our unknown visitor, and we're just labeled visitor right now. And we're going to go to Juergens Insurance. Sorry, Juergens Insurance. And you'll notice, first of all, I'm not getting a direct queue message. And that's important because I don't really know the best thing for this person yet, right? But I am browsing around on the website. It turns out that this visitor came to us because they own a guitar shop and they're relatively new and they're looking for an online payment system. Of course, this person used to be in technology and understands the importance of having cyber liability coverage. And so as he's thinking about collecting payments, he's thinking, I should probably make sure that I'm covered for this, right? So that's why he's out there. And of course, and he goes to the business section. When he goes to the business section, he does see a queue. And that's because we've set up a queue that says, if you are an unknown visitor, then we want to educate people on cyber coverage right now. We're going to run a campaign that says, when you go to the business page, I want to show you our cyber coverage. And so in the traditional sense, this might be what you think of when it comes to messages that show up on your webpage. This is the most simple thing that you can do. And I wanted to demonstrate that even the simple things are possible with this, right? So you don't need to track all of the users and everything, and you can show simple messages if you want to, but there's some extra benefits. And that's because queues, even though we don't know who this person is yet because they haven't responded to anything, is tracking behavior. So it's keeping a history of what this person is doing before they go to the queue. And then when they interact with our communications, like surveys and things, we'll be able to have that information. So this is just a quick, I don't even know that I have anything great to download here. So I'm not going to click this, but I wanted to show how we can use this when we don't know the visitor. But I happen to have this person's email here, and their name is Victor. So that's who we are. And Victor, let's see, do we want him to be a neutral? Yeah, let's make him a promoter. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to click this. And of course, now we can see that it's Victor. And yeah, let's leave a thanks for everything you do. And you all are seeing a lot of our system today and how it all connects. So we've got our survey in here. Thanks. It's going to ask for a Facebook recommendation, which is really neat. But I'm going to just swipe this back over. And now that we know that we have Victor here, I'm going to just refresh this. I'm going to then be able to see, first of all, oops, not form responses. I meant to go to survey. I can see I just responded 10 to a survey. And I can go look at my queues, and I can see all of these web visitor history records that are here that we're going to be able to unlock very soon. And you're going to be able to say, hey, if you have visited a certain page on our website, then I want to start this journey or that journey. And so now we know that Victor was that visitor, and that's why we named him Victor Visitor. And we can start to then target Victor with other campaigns and emails in the journeys. So that's Victor. And I want to switch back over to my slides because I want to talk about some of the other things that you can do with queues and other really great use cases. Cross-selling, I really showed that with the first two. Lead capture, I also showed that with our cyber one. Now, you don't have to, you don't have to have a form for these, but like Sam had, you can just link to an existing form if you want to. But we like having the forms embedded in queues because they're short and sweet, easy to do. Promoting events. This is another thing that a lot of you in the audience have events. It could be a charity event. It could be another local event that you want to promote. And it's a really good way for that first thing the visitor to see is to, promote an event. And that would be a great thing to put for that person. We don't know who you are. We don't have a message for you, but we still want you to come to this event that's coming up. Landing pages. Okay, this is, and I'm going to show you a little bit about this here in a second. So if you remember, the very first queue that we saw was very big, right? The one that kind of filled up the whole screen for our cyber coverage. We designed queues to be very configurable, easy to update and change. I'm going to show you that here in a second. And to some extent, it can take the place of landing pages. If you've ever wanted to add landing pages to your website without making coding changes, queues is how you're going to do it. Because you don't need to worry about having a special link that people need to go to. All you need to think about is what you want them to see, and then the queues will show it to them, right? So they are going to see the landing page that's most important to them. You don't need to say, go to this URL or go to that URL, right? That's the old world, okay? In the new world, you set a queue, they go to your website no matter where they go, and they see what you want them to see. And of course, important agency messages. So imagine something happens in your area. Maybe there's some kind of disaster, unfortunately, and you need to put something up to help people get the information that they need to know right away. Set a queue so they don't have to dig for that stuff online, right? So they aren't digging, for where they need to go. So some people put banners and stuff like that on their site. We think that a queue in a situation like that is the best thing because it requires they don't even need to look anywhere. It's just going to be right in front of their face. Okay, so I talked a little bit about landing pages. So I'm going to, again, flip back over to, actually, I think maybe I have a slide for that. I don't have a slide for that. So I'm going to flip over to my screen, and I'm going to take you behind the curtains of actually building a queue because I think it's kind of fun to do. So inside of settings, you're going to see a new thing called queues. And queues has two important things. We have a design of a queue, and then we have display rules, okay? So a design is simply that. It shows you how a queue should look and what's in it. The rules tell us who should see that queue and on what pages of my website, okay? We separate these because we think that you might have one design that you're going to show in two different places of your site and have different rules. So you can separate those two things, which is really important. But let's take that first cyber message that we had out there, which, by the way, you can see that I had 2 known contacts look at this. And I recently reset the stats on this. So these are what we saw today. So if I click on preview, we show you what your queue will look like sort of in the small view, just in a sample website that we have. But if you want to edit it, this is a really neat real-time editor. So if I'm looking at my queue over on the right and I want to change something about it, I can click on it and it's going to take me to the configuration for that section. And as I type, actually, you know what? Let's use Circle AI. Okay. Let's write a funny joke about why you need cyber coverage. Keep it to 1 sentence. Let's see how well Circle AI does with this. Sometimes we need to adjust it a little bit, but we'll see. Hey, why don't we ever give secrets to a computer on a network? Because it just can't keep its windows shut, and that's why you need cyber coverage. Okay, we're going to go with that. Notice when I check save, I can instantly see the changes over here. How about if I want to just move it around? Let's say our joke is so good, I'm going to move it up. I can just simply move it up, and I can see it changing on there instantly and right away. So don't you wish your landing pages were this easy to build? I mean, this is great, right? And the neat part about this is we're going to continue to improve how we build all of our content. And we're going to start to use a lot of the things that you see in queues here in other parts of our system, whether it be emails and other parts. So we're really excited about this new builder. And actually, this is kind of a fun one. Look, as I am changing the size of my image, you can kind of see how it works real time as well. So you can make sure that you get that image the right size. So a lot of really neat things. Of course, the form, that's all baked into our form system. So I could easily change my form if I wanted to. Let's say, oh, I think I have one for auto interest. There's a lead form in here. So you can really see real time what the forms look like and how the queue is going to work. So you get that real time preview. So we're really excited about how easy it is to build queue designs. And then again, let me just briefly show you into the settings. This is some of the more boring parts of queues. You know, I like to kind of stick into the design, but I wanted to just show you how this rule here is for anyone that visits a specific path. And so you can see I kind of set a path for commercial lines on Juergens Insurance, and that's why we saw that message for the unknown visitor. And then, of course, here's where you can change the size and style. So we can use an expiration date. This is really good for events that you don't want to promote an event after it's over. So you can change the expiration date, or maybe you want to change the rules and different dates. So we can do that. And then you can also limit the number of times that a queue is shown. This is important because if someone sees something 4 or 5 times, they might not be interested and you want to turn it off, right? So that's what we have. Now, I am going to share a little bit of a secret. We used queues. I'm going to go back to my slides here. We used queues to promote this webinar in the app, as well as a webinar in the last couple of weeks for retention. Some of you may have gone to that retention webinar. 20% of the people that went to that webinar clicked on it through a queue. Queues are effective. They're working. In fact, we saw on the retention webinar something like 8 to 10% click through on that. That's amazing. And I want you to get those results too. I want to see you get the same results for your business. And that's why we made this. We're eating our own dog food. We are using this. And you're going to see queues in the app when we release new features, when we have upcoming events and webinars and things that we want you to see. And we're excited to use queues, and we're excited for you to use queues. If you are an existing customer, there's a good chance that you have this in your tool. Now, it is on plans that have journeys. That's how we have set this up, because what queues does is it really starts to bundle things together. It brings our entire system together. It brings websites with queues and surveys and everything together, right? And we're going to continue to have more features like this that are all kind of connected. And if you have journeys, you have queues. If you don't know what journeys are and would like to learn about that, talk with your account manager if you're a customer. If you're not a customer, if you have not used ClientCircle before, please go to clientcircle.com/demo. My team would love to show you around. They would love to show you how these tools work. And the neat thing is, we're not pushy, right? We want to make sure that the solution we have is the right solution for you. So we're going to ask you some questions about your business and what your goals are, and make sure that it really fits for you. So again, if you're a customer, please talk to your account manager. They're either going to help you get on a plan that does have queues, or help you get started with queues if you would like. And if you are not a customer and you haven't used ClientCircle, please go to clientcircle.com/demo. If you're a customer and go to demo, you're going to be talking to a salesperson and not an account manager. So I would highly recommend talking to your account manager to really learn more. So I am going to go into questions. I have 8 minutes for questions. So let me hit the Q&A section here. Okay. All right. First question. Jim's read an article on another website, the agency site Q. Let me reread this. So Jim read an article on another website, and the agency site Q triggered the pop-up based on his search. Not sure I understand that question. If whoever put that question in could rephrase the question as a question, then I will answer it. But I'm not sure what that question is. Sorry. Do we need to have ClientCircle website for queues to work? Oh, great question. Thank you for asking that. You don't. Okay, you don't need a ClientCircle website for queues to work. In fact, it will work on other websites. You're going to have the best experience and no configuration necessary if you have a ClientCircle website. If you don't have a ClientCircle website, then we can help you configure it and get it set up. So we can work with that. We made sure that it would work on other websites. Very important. Can we make a note in our management system? I like that idea. I think we could do that. That is going to be a feature enhancement, and it's something that we could work on because we have all the information. It just need, and actually, wait, you will see that we sent that they will have a queue set, but I'm not sure right now. You will see that they've sent it, but we could add that. That's a great question. Do you need to have a journey in place running for queues to work? That's another great question. No, you don't. However, if you want to automate queues across a large group of people, then journeys is the way to do it. However, if you would like, in fact, let me just share, let me go back to the screen, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to, well, I'm just going to open up Gym real quick. So I'm looking at Gym. I can go into conversations. I can do new conversation. I can select queue and also schedule a queue for Gym or any customer that way. So that's how that works. Looks like evidently we have a little bit of a bug there to fix. So we'll make sure that works. Okay, is queue something that comes with our current Vertafore package? So if you're a Vertafore client communications customer, then again, you need to have journeys for that. To get journeys, you need to be on the premium package, right? Queues is something, and journeys is something that you're really going to need our team's, advice on how to best use it. And so that's in your premium package. But it's a really, really good value. Trust me on that. I think I'm through it. Oh, the other question was, did the queue know what Jim was browsing prior to visiting the agent's website? And that's why queues was served. So does queues, I think maybe the question is, does ClientCircle know what other websites Jim is viewing? No, we don't know that. In fact, that is sort of the privacy stuff that is being locked down. That's very, very difficult, not impossible to get anymore. So what we know is what communications Jim has connected with. So we know where Jim is, and we know where Jim has been inside of your website, but not other websites. So I just had another website open to kind of give you an idea of what may have prompted them to go to your website. But we don't track across websites. So great question on that. And that's the challenge, is figuring out how to do this without tracking across other websites. So that's what we've been able to do. All right. So I think that's going to wrap us up for today. I made it through all the questions. Thank you very much for everybody who joined. I'm really excited for you to dig into queues and get the most out of your plan here at ClientCircle. And we're not going to stop. Okay, we are inventors. We're going to continue to invent. We're going to continue to make more really great tools for you to use and to improve your agency and your business. In fact, you're going to hear more things even coming out yet this year that we're super excited to announce. And we're not going to stop. And we're here for you. Please demo if you haven't demoed. If you're a customer, talk to your account manager. I'm going to leave you all with just a quick goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.